Hello, welcome back to the YouTube channel. I am Nick from Australia. Hope you guys are doing well tonight. So this video is going to be Nick from Australia's most underrated 1 to 17 team in the NRL at the moment. So these 17 players, I believe, are the most underrated players in the NRL as we speak as of right now. Now, it's quite tough. There's a couple of guys here that might not be underrated, but I feel like they are in a way. So, yeah, it's a tough list to put together, but let's get into the team. So I'll go through 1 to 17, and then I'll talk about why. So, fullback, Corey Thompson. On the wings, Kyle Feldt and Edric Lee. In the centres, Jarrod Croker and Will Hopoate. 5'8", Chanel Harris-Tavita. Halfback, Chad Townsend. Front row, Jordan McLean and Siwa Takiyaho. Hooker, Cameron McGuinness. Second row, Alex Glenn. Mitch Orbison. Absolutely love Mitch Orbison. Lock, Sia Soliola. And the bench, Joel Thompson, Mitchell Barnett, John Asiata, and Aiden Tolman. And the coach. This might be a very controversial pick. Don't flip out. He hasn't done much yet, but I think he will. Dean Pay from the Bulldogs. I think he's an underrated coach, and I'll explain more on him later. So let's start off with Corey Thompson. Now, I think Corey Thompson is the most underrated fullback in the NRL. I think, I'm not sure if he'll be playing fullback when the Tigers get their strongest team in. But when Corey Thompson plays fullback in the NRL, he is so goddamn underrated. I can't believe he hasn't even been in the conversation for a Queensland jersey yet on the wing. He can play anywhere in the back line. He can goal kick as well, which is another great attribute for a guy like Corey Thompson to have. I think his best position might be on the wing, but bloody hell, he can play well at fullback. I think he's one of the most underrated players in the NRL at the moment, and I think he deserves to make this team. So, Corey Thompson, well done, I guess. Next, the wingers, I've got Kyle Feldt and Edric Lee. Now, I'll start with Kyle Feldt. Kyle Feldt, for mine, how he hasn't played for Queensland yet is beyond me. A bit like Corey Thompson. They at least should be having the conversation about these two players. Kyle Feldt's been very underrated for a long time now. Sorry, I just got a bloody itchy arm. Yeah, Kyle Feldt, I mean, he's a great finisher in the corner. His kickoffs are absolutely outstanding. It does get a bit predictable after a while, his kickoffs, but they're still not easy to take. He's a good defender. He's good under the high ball. He's got all the attributes, everything Kyle Feldt does. He's a great winger. I can't believe that he's not talked up as a top 5 or, you know, he's definitely a top 10 winger, but he goes close to the top 5, I reckon. He probably goes somewhere between 5 and 7 as the best wingers in the competition. But yeah, he's a very underrated player, and I think everyone who watches NRL will agree that he's a very underrated player. The other winger is Edric Lee. Now, Edric Lee, for mine, doesn't get enough praise for when he's playing. When he makes a break, they'll praise him up. But he's improved on his when he catches the ball. He's improved on his defense. He's quick. He can do a job for you. He can win you a game. He's very underrated. You know, if you look at the other wingers in the game, the best ones like your Fergusons, your Sevos, your Mamalos, your Addo Cars, Kodricks and all that, you know, all those sort of Tupos and all those sort of players. Edric Lee gets, not even mentioning, he ends up back at 9th, 10th best winger. He had a good year last year until he got injured, so I think Edric Lee, I think he deserves it. I think he's a very underrated winger. I really do believe that. Next one is Jarrod Croker, the centres. Now, Jarrod Croker, for mine, how he hasn't played for New South Wales is beyond me. I think Jarrod Croker will go down as one of the most underrated centres of all time. I know there's an argument, people say, oh, he's not underrated anymore. How isn't he underrated? Just because Cameron made a grand final and he's a co-captain, it doesn't mean he's not underrated. It doesn't just go, oh, he's in the finals now, he's overrated. It doesn't matter. He's underrated. He hasn't played any rep footy, which I can't believe. He's a solid player. Yeah, I don't know if he'll ever play Origin, but I wish he would, but I can't believe he hasn't played Origin. He's a very underrated player. Might be the most underrated player of all time. Or maybe might be the most underrated centre of all time. Might be another way to go about it. The other one is Will Hopewade. Now, I know Hopewade used to play State of Origin back in 2011, or was 2011, 2012, when he was at Manly. And then he went back to Parramatta, and then I think he played a bit of Origin when he was at Parramatta as well. And then he went to the Doggies, but Hopewade for mine, he goes under the radar. He's a solid defender. He probably hasn't got the attacking threat that he used to have, but mate, Hopewade, he'll do a job for you. He's one of those experienced leaders in your team, and I think Will Hopewade's one of those guys where he can cover a wing position. He can play the odd game at fullback. He's a solid player, Will Hopewade. Very underrated. If you, like I said about Kyle Feldt before, if you watch enough NRL, you'll know Hopewade's underrated. He's not a top 5 centre by all means, but I think he makes the top 10. He's a very underrated player, and he makes the list, no doubt about it. Halves. Chanel Harris-Tavita and Chad Townsend. Now, Harris-Tavita, I honestly rate this kid now. I think Harris-Tavita is a player of the future. I know he's probably a bit early on this list, but he's a great defender. He can attack the line. He can play left side or right side. He can play both 5'8" and halfback. Good goal kicker. Chanel Harris-Tavita would be a great fit at a club like the Cowboys, I feel like. I think he'd be a good fit with us. You know, put some pressure on some of the other guys there. You know, like I said before a few times, but Val Holmes on the wing, Drinkwater at fullback. I don't know about Clifford. Maybe Harris-Tavita would be, I don't know. I'm going out of line here, but Harris-Tavita is a very underrated player. He's got all the attributes. He's only young. Compared to the other 5'8" in the league, would Chanel Harris-Tavita be a top 10 5'8" in the NRL? A lot of people will probably say no, but I think he's underrated because he doesn't get talked up, never mentioned about anything, but when he's on, he's a solid player. And the other one, a halfback, Chad Townsend. Won a premiership in 2016. Before 2016, was pretty much bludgeoning at the Warriors. Went to Cronulla. Didn't really rate him at first when he went to Cronulla. I remember the 2016 qualifying final where they played Canberra and he got dropped to the bench with like 20 to go. And then he had that massive game against the Cowboys where they beat us in the preliminary final. But I think Chad Townsend goes under the radar. He's a fine player. I just don't see how he's not overrated. He's very underrated. He's a solid player and probably a future Origin star, to be honest. I'll move on to the next one. Front rowers Jordan McLean and Siwa Takiyaho. Now, Jordan McLean, for mine, when he was at Melbourne, he was a bit of a grub. Goes up to the Cowboys. He's a New South Welshman. Played one game for Australia. I think it was the 2017 World Cup. And then, I don't know, he went to the Cowboys. He got injured in 2018. Had a good year last year. Didn't get any mention about anything. And he's just a solid player. He's an all-round solid player. I can't believe he didn't play Origin last year. I remember last year going into Game 3. And I said, why not pick Jordan McLean for State of Origin? He's a solid player. And I don't know. No one listened, I guess. But what can you do? But McLean's a solid underrated player. The other one is Takiyaho. Now, Takiyaho, for mine, he's probably my favourite front rower in the NRL. I absolutely love Siwa Takiyaho. My favourite front rower in the NRL by an absolute mile. Great player. Does a job. Goal kicks. Won't let you down. I love Takiyaho. Arguably a top 5 front rower. I'd have him in the top 3 personally. I absolutely love him. And he makes this list. He's so underrated. Hooker is Cameron McInnes. Probably the second hooker in line for New South Wales if Damien Cook was injured. If Damien Cook was out injured, I think Cameron McInnes would be the New South Wales hooker. Very solid player. And he's at the Dragons at the moment. We'll see if he stays at the Dragons long term. But Cameron McInnes, man, what a player. Underrated, great leader, good captain too. Back row, Alex Glenn and Mitch Orbison. Now, Alex Glenn, he's the Broncos captain. He's a solid back rower. But then, the thing with Alex Glenn, I said it in my overrated video. You know, the Broncos have got so many forwards, they don't even need guys like Glenn and Tavita Pangai Jr. to do much. Because they've got so many other forwards. But, gee, Alex Glenn, what a player he is. Underrated as they come. I think he will always be underrated, Alex Glenn. Solid player. The other one is Mitch Orbison. Now, Mitch Orbison, one of my favourite players of all time. Absolutely love this bloke. He's won 3 premierships. He won two at back row. And he won 1 at halfback in the 2018 Grand Final. He is so good. So good. Probably my favourite, one of my favourite, he probably is my favourite player along with Tamalolo and a couple others, but my God, Mitch Orbison, I love you, Mitch Orbison, you are a fucking legend. I love Orbo, always will. Locke, he's underrated too, never gets to, how the fuck did Mitch Orbison play more Origins? Fucking hell, what's the New South Wales Origin selectors doing? What are you doing? You had Orbo, you might have beat Queensland a couple of years ago when they were going for that 8 in a row crap. You might have beat them with Orbo playing. Locke, Sia Soliola from the Canberra Raiders. Now, I call him Sia Soliola because it's easier to pronounce. Now, he may be a hard, aggressive player. He may have taken Billy Slater's head off in 2017 in round 25. Listen, Sia Soliola is one of those blokes where he'll go out there, he'll smash someone, he'll run over someone, he'll do a job, and no one will talk about him. They'll go, yeah, he played alright. That's all the people say about him. Soliola is an absolute legend. He's one of those blokes where he'll play front row, he'll play lock, he'll play back row. I remember when he was at the Roosters early in his career, he was playing centres. I remember the 2008 finals game, I think he was playing centres and they were playing the Warriors in New Zealand and he got absolutely hammered by, I don't know if it was Steve Price or someone. I can't remember who it was, but he got knocked out. But what a player Soliola is, very underrated. And let's move on to the bench. John Asiata, far out. Cowboys utility player, bit of a front rower. I think his best position is lock personally. Can play back row. Played 5'8" a little bit. Played a little bit of halfback. Played a bit of hooker. Probably the Cowboys' most underrated player, or along with Felt. I think Asiata could be a smoky for a New South Wales utility position in the future. He is a very underrated player compared to so many other blokes going around. I love John Asiata. I hope he stays at the Cowboys the rest of his career. He's Mr. Versatile, underrated, never gets talked about. Great player. The other one I got is, who else have I got? Aiden Tolman. Now, Tolman started his career in Melbourne, I believe, and ended up at Canterbury. He's an absolute warrior, Aiden Tolman. Goes out there, runs hard, tackles hard, does a job, never bitches, never complains, solid player. You know, all these players on this list, they're all good players, great players in their own right, but they just don't get the recognition, or whatever the fuck you say it. How do you say it? Recognition, or whatever the fuck it's called, that they deserve. But what a player Aiden Tolman has been over the years. Very underrated. The next one is Joel Thompson. Now, Joel Thompson, how the heck hasn't he played Origin? I know he was at the Dragons he started at Canberra, I think, and then he went to the Dragons, then he went to Manly, and I think he's just one of those underrated left side back rowers who's got a lot of strike on him, and he's just a solid player. You know, he won't let you down. He's a good leader. He's got a lot of experience. Yeah, he's a great player, Joel Thompson. I think the Dragons are actually regretting letting him go. I remember a couple of years ago when he left the Dragons to go to Manly. My dad's a Dragons supporter. He said, I don't care what anyone says, this is a massive loss for us. And I said, yeah, it should be alright. I didn't realise how big of a loss it actually was for the Dragons. Joel Thompson's a fucking animal. What a player he is. And the last one, Mitchell Barnett. What a player he is at Newcastle. He He was a lock for a long time at Newcastle. He was a lock for ages, especially when Newcastle was struggling. They won those 3 wooden spoons in a row, and they were just doing nothing. Mitch Barnett was one of the best players for those years, and then he moved to back row late last year, and he started back row again this year. And my God, he is a strike back rower. I think he's on the verge of State of Origin as a second rower. Problem is, there's so many friggin' names that are in front of Mitch Barnett, but I'll tell you what, Mitch Barnett's going to go on the verge. He's going to go close to Origin. He's going to be. It should be in the discussion when Origin happens after the 2020 season. But I tell you what, Barnett, what a player. And the coach is Dean Pay. Now this is a tough one. Now, Dean Pay took over the Bulldogs, I believe, 2018. He started there. They had a bludger of a year. Well, what do you expect? They have a shit roster. And then last year they were terrible, and then they come good. That run last year was outstanding. They missed the 8 by 2 games in the end. If they had started well, they would have made the 8. Actually, no. If Kieran Foran did not get injured last year at the start of the year, they would have made the 8. I reckon. Kieran Foran, he was in career best form last year. He was outstanding. If Kieran Foran had stayed fit last year, if he never got injured, I think it was the Tigers game he got injured at round 3 last year on a Sunday afternoon at Campbelltown. Kieran Foran, what a player. He controls the Bulldogs side. And Dean Pay, he's going to be a really good coach when they get Luke Thompson next year. And I think Dean Pay is going to be a long-term coach for the Bulldogs. I hope he stays there long-term. I hope the Bulldogs board back him. The Bulldogs have had a shit roster for a couple of years. I think they get the forward next year. They'll have the forward pack. They get Luke Thompson. They'll have Napa. They'll have Tolman. They'll have Josh Jackson. They'll have Adam Elliott. The Bulldogs forward pack in 2021 will be very solid. It'll be underrated in a way, but if the Bulldogs can get a strike centre maybe and a hooker, they might be a chance for top 8. But they're gonna go close sometime soon. But anyway, guys, that's it for this video. Make sure you guys go ahead and like, comment, subscribe. Hope you guys enjoyed my 1 to 17 most underrated team in the NRL at the moment. Let me know in the comments below if you agree with some of these selections or disagree. Let me know if I forgot anybody. I'm sure I forgot a couple of people. Anyway, so thank you guys for watching, and I will see you guys in the next one. Have a good one, guys.